I think it was when I got to 10, and Ken said something about where that put me on the all-time leaderboard, and I was like, oh, that is already quite high. And and that would have been in the middle of the day, and then I went and won 11, 12, 13, and I was like, I guess it's happening. Like, it was just like, wow, this is actually a thing now.
Breaking the fourth wall a little here, but when I was at about 10 wins, Alex asked me in our interview, so what's it like to be famous now? And I wasn't going to be famous for another month and a half, so it was fun trying to predict what changes my life was about to go through. But it kind of hit me then that, things are going to blow up.
Yeah, I think 10 is a real kind of milestone to go into double digits. And I remember, I think it was maybe my 12th win or whatever was when Ken announced at the end of the game, and you're now on the leaderboard of legends or it was still the Hall of Fame back then, but and it just kind of didn't hit me that very few people have won 10 games, increasing numbers in recent years, but still very few in total. So I think that's the moment.
I don't read books.
Moby Dick, probably. But I would say that kind of my favorite, I guess I would say, genre novel is called The Goblin Emperor by Kathleen Addison. And I can't explain why I like it so much. It's about this half-goblin who becomes king of the Elflands and all the court politics that goes around it. And I can't get enough of it. I've read it 10 times.
I think a lot of my favorite books are memoir type things, but of things that would be novels, I'm a big The Trial by Kafka head, unfortunately for me. I don't know.
When they started offering it, I was like, oh, okay, well, this is convenient. I'll just do that. Because I'd always been kind of meaning, I forget exactly how it worked before that, but they would come to your town and you had to actually notice in the paper that was happening and all that sort of thing. But then I saw them announce that on the show, and I was like, oh, I'm signing up, I'll do that.
I'm old school. I used to have to take the test when they told me to. One year it didn't work.
Yeah, I think there was a period of time where Canadians actually could not go on the show that I think coincided with when I would have first been eligible to actually do the test, as an adult. And then essentially I was bored at my parents' house. I got trapped. What was supposed to be a 6-week visit home turned into 4 months, and it was excruciatingly bad by the end of it. But the one thing that was nice about that time is I did the anytime test, and then now I'm here. I think there are a lot.
Yeah, I think there are a lot. I mean, I think one of them is how much of it is kind of about Jeopardy, specifically about being able to interpret the clue really fast and understand what it's asking, understanding the way that they the way the writers put clues into the clues, and all of that sort of thing. Beyond just knowing a bunch of facts, it's knowing the Jeopardy thing specifically.
I don't know that this is a misconception so much as something that I wouldn't have thought of before doing the show. I feel like stamina is actually a pretty big part of it, particularly if you're playing regular season and you're going on a long run. To be able to play 5 in a day, multiple days in a row, possibly travel back and forth. I was always impressed with Ken's run, but then after going on the show myself, I was even if I was against the most washed opposition, just flying back and forth multiple times would have probably taken a lot out of me.
I mean, I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is that that each episode you watch was recorded that day.
Or that you record a day at a time.
Yeah.
People seem to have this idea that champions lose on purpose in their last game. That's a pretty big misconception.
Yeah.
We all like money. Why would we do that?
Yeah. Well, I never wished to play against James, but I'm interested in doing it now. That's okay. It's a fun challenge in that sense.
I would like to play the GOAT again with only Brad as the opponent.
I don't know. I feel like there's people that would be fun to play against. I think it'd be fun to play against Austin Rogers. I think that the people who don't like when you're chatty during the game would simply have to not watch. But I think we would enjoy ourselves.
I always hoped that they would have a category on name the metal song by the guitar solo, and you just did hear a 5-second clip of it. I would slay at that.
Yeah, a category all about the movie Master and Commander: Far Side of the World.
I've been seeing weirdly a lot of tweets about Master and Commander lately. It's having a renaissance apparently. I don't know.
Yeah.
I need a category that's just RuPaul's Drag Race. Yeah.
I'm not very good at studying trivia for its own sake, or like memorizing lists of things and things like that. I mean, I think to me it's, you need to find things that interest you that are going to kind of coincidentally like fill you in on those things. I think, you know, being really into reading history is one of the biggest like things for me, because it'll end up like tying so many different things together and giving all these sort of like networks of things in your mind that'll help you with a lot of different stuff that isn't just pure history questions.
I think just, yeah, similarly, I would say just like pay attention when people talk to you. There's a lot of answers that I've probably gotten on Jeopardy purely as a result of like, one time I had a friend in undergrad who wrote a paper that touched on this thing. And if I had just been kind of tuning it out, I wouldn't have necessarily known it. You know, if you listen to podcasts, actually try to internalize the things that you're hearing, you know? Like, I just think like making an act, this sounds so dumb because it's like, of course, like, why wouldn't you do this? But I feel like, I don't know. I've noticed even since being on the show, I make a much more active effort to try to remember things as opposed to just like, well, maybe, you know, who needs to know that?
Right.
I think when you do this for a living, you kind of get the idea of, oh, this might be a quiz question someday. I'll find a way to make it stick in my mind. Oh, definitely. So I gave an interview early in my run about how I used to be so impressed when my dad could always complete the New York Times crossword, but he would tell me he always just looked up the pop culture answers, except that he remembered ones that came up all the time, like rap star Dr. Dre. And then like, and it took like a month in real time, but like the next tape day, there was a question about, you know, this rap doctor, and I ran excitedly, who is Dr. Dre? And I think a lot of people at home thought, this guy doesn't even know how to pronounce Dr. Dre's name, and he's winning $2 million.
Yeah, I remember the category of the year before and after was like one of my favorite categories. I don't like remember any specific clues standing out, but I just enjoyed I thought it was a cute idea. I don't know, I liked it.
I remember I hit a daily double one time. It was like some sort of geography starting with N category, and the response to this one was New Brunswick. And as soon as I saw the clue come up, I immediately I think I was like, oh, like it threw my hands in the air. Ken broke a little bit reading it because he saw my reaction to it. And it got memed a lot, I think, among people from the Maritimes, because they were like, this is maybe one of the only Jeopardy contestants that like would 100% full confidence know it. Like, I don't know, it was a nice moment.
Children's books. They're a great secret for, you know, if there's some subject you're not interested in, but you can learn basics of by reading some infographics and pictures and stuff like that. Children's books.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one for me is to don't just prepare like your knowledge, like prepare your, you know, mental state for being there and for how you're going to handle the pressure and how you're not going to get distracted and how you're not going to like get in your head when things aren't going well.
Yeah, there've definitely been games that I have felt just like so terrible after playing them. Even some that I won where I just like wasn't really happy with it. And then I dread watching them and it's just like never actually as bad as I thought it was. I would say, you know, if you're at the point in the process where you're maybe cast on the show and you're like, what do I do with that last 3 weeks? I think the mindset piece of it is important, and like have fun. I really do think that people play better when they're enjoying themselves. So whatever you need to do to get yourself into a headspace where you can actually enjoy the moment for what it is, whether you get to do it once or like, you know, 75 times, whatever. Yeah, it's a treat to be here. Poached. I love a good eggs Benedict, but like with salmon.
I don't eat eggs.
Yeah, I guess over easy. I don't know. I don't eat them a lot, but yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'd be one of those tortoises that lives for like 200 years, because then I'd live for 200 years. So that seems nice.
A rabbit, so my daughter would want to hug me.
I feel like it could be okay to be like a dolphin or a whale or something.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true. Actually, I would be a cat. I watch my cats. They seem to be having a great time.